Day 716, Monday, August 11th. Nehemiah 3 and 4. Nehemiah 3 1-32. NKJV. Then Eliashib the high priest rose up with his brethren the priests and built the sheep gate. They consecrated it and hung its doors. They built as far as the Tower of the 100, and consecrated it, then as far as the Tower of Hananel. Next to Eliashib the men of Jericho built, and next to them Zakur the son of Imri built. Also the sons of Hassanah built the fish gate. They laid its beams and hung its doors with its bolts and bars. And next to them Meremoth the son of Orijah, the son of Koz, made repairs. Next to them Meshullam the son of Berechiah, the son of Meshezabel, made repairs. Next to them Zadok the son of Baana made repairs. Next to them the Tekoites made repairs. But their nobles did not put their shoulders to the work of their lord. Moreover, Jehoiada the son of Paseah, and Meshullam the son of Besodeiah repaired the old gate. They laid its beams and hung its doors, with its bolts and bars. And next to them Melatiah the Gibeonite, Jadon the Meronothite, the men of Gibeon and Mizpah, repaired the residence of the governor of the region beyond the river. Next to him Uzziel the son of Harhaiah, one of the goldsmiths, made repairs. Also next to him Hananiah, one of the perfumers, made repairs. And they fortified Jerusalem as far as the broad wall. And next to them Raphiah the son of Hur, leader of half the district of Jerusalem, made repairs. Next to them Jediah the son of Haramoth made repairs in front of his house. And next to him Hattush the son of Hashabniah made repairs. Malchijah the son of Harim and Hashub the son of Pahath-Moab repaired another section, as well as the Tower of the Ovens. And next to him was Shallum the son of Halohesh, leader of half the district of Jerusalem. He and his daughters made repairs. Hanun and the inhabitants of Zanoah repaired the valley gate. They built it, hung its doors with its bolts and bars, and repaired 1,000 cubits of the wall as far as the refuse gate. Malchijah the son of Rechab, leader of the district of Beth-Haxarim, repaired the refuse gate. He built it and hung its doors with its bolts and bars. Shallun the son of Colonel Hoseh, leader of the district of Mizpah, repaired the fountain gate. He built it, covered it, hung its doors with its bolts and bars, and repaired the wall of the pool of Shelah by the king's garden, as far as the stairs that go down from the city of David. After him Nehemiah the son of Azbuk, leader of half the district of Beth-Zur, made repairs as far as the place in front of the tombs of David, to the man-made pool, and as far as the house of the mighty. After him the Levites, under Rehum the son of Bani, made repairs. Next to him Hashabiah, leader of half the district of Keilah, made repairs for his district. After him their brethren, under Bavai the son of Henadad, leader of the other half of the district of Keilah, made repairs. And next to him Ezer the son of Jeshua, the leader of Mizpah, repaired another section in front of the ascent to the armory at the buttress. After him Baruch the son of Zabbai carefully repaired the other section, from the buttress to the door of the house of Eliashib the high priest. After him Meremoth the son of Orijah, the son of Koz, repaired another section, from the door of the house of Eliashib to the end of the house of Eliashib. And after him the priests, the men of the plain, made repairs. After him Benjamin and Hashub made repairs opposite their house. After them Azariah the son of Maaseiah, the son of Ananiah, made repairs by his house. After him Binnui the son of Henadad repaired another section, from the house of Azariah to the buttress, even as far as the corner. Palal the son of Uzai made repairs opposite the buttress, and on the tower which projects from the king's upper house that was by the court of the prison. After him Pedaiah the son of Parosh made repairs. Moreover the Nethinim who dwelt in Ophel made repairs as far as the place in front of the water gate toward the east, and on the projecting tower. After them the Tekoites repaired another section, next to the great projecting tower, and as far as the wall of Ophel. Beyond the horse gate the priests made repairs, each in front of his own house. After them Zadok the son of Immer made repairs in front of his own house. After him Shemaiah the son of Shechaniah, the keeper of the east gate, made repairs. After him Hananiah the son of Shelemiah, and Hanun the sixth son of Zalaph, repaired another section. After him Meshullam the son of Berechiah made repairs in front of his dwelling. After him Malchijah, one of the goldsmiths, made repairs as far as the house of the Nethinim and of the merchants in front of the Mifkad gate, and as far as the upper room at the corner. And between the upper room at the corner, as far as the sheep gate, the goldsmiths and the merchants made repairs. Nehemiah 4 1-23 NKJV. But it so happened, when Sanballat heard that we were rebuilding the wall, that he was furious and very indignant, and mocked the Jews. And he spoke before his brethren and the army of Samaria, and said, What are these feeble Jews doing? Will they fortify themselves? Will they offer sacrifices? Will they complete it in a day? Will they revive the stones from the heaps of rubbish, stones that are burned? Now Tobiah the Ammonite was beside him, and he said, Whatever they build, if even a fox goes up on it, he will break down their stone wall. Hear, O our God, for we are despised, turn their reproach on their own heads, and give them as plunder to a land of captivity. Do not cover their iniquity, and do not let their sin be blotted out from before you, for they have provoked you to anger before the builders. So we built the wall, and the entire wall was joined together up to half its height, for the people had a mind to work. Now it happened, when Sanballat, Tobiah, the Arabs, the Ammonites, and the Ashdodites heard that the walls of Jerusalem were being restored, and the gaps were beginning to be closed, that they became very angry, and all of them conspired together to come and attack Jerusalem and create confusion. Nevertheless, we made our prayer to our God, and because of them, we set a watch against them day and night. Then Judah said, The strength of the laborers is failing, and there is so much rubbish that we are not able to build the wall. And our adversaries said, They will neither know nor see anything, till we come into their midst and kill them and cause the work to cease. So it was, when the Jews who dwelt near them came, that they told us 10 times, From whatever place you turn they will be upon us. Therefore I positioned men behind the lower parts of the wall, at the openings, and I set the people according to their families, with their swords, their spears, and their bows. And I looked, and arose, and said to the nobles, to the leaders, and to the rest of the people, Do not be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, great and awesome, and fight for your brethren, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and your houses. And it happened, when our enemies heard that it was known to us, and that God had brought their plot to nothing, that all of us returned to the wall, everyone to his work. So it was, from that time on, that half of my servants worked at construction, while the other half held the spears, the shields, the bows, and wore armor, and the leaders were behind all the house of Judah. Those who built on the wall, and those who carried burdens, loaded themselves so that with one hand they worked at construction, and with the other held a weapon. Every one of the builders had his sword girded at his side as he built, and the one who sounded the trumpet was beside me. Then I said to the nobles, the rulers, and the rest of the people, The work is great and extensive, and we are separated far from one another on the wall. Wherever you hear the sound of the trumpet, rally to us there. Our God will fight for us. So we labored in the work, and half of the men held the spears from daybreak until the stars appeared. At the same time I also said to the people, Let each man and his servant stay at night in Jerusalem, that they may be our guard by night and a working party by day. So neither I, my brethren, my servants, nor the men of the guard who followed me took off our clothes, except that everyone took them off for washing. Daily deep dive. Before you read the commentary today, I would encourage you to see the image on the UCG website of Jerusalem's wall in the days of Nehemiah found here. The UCG reading plan states, The Jews immediately commence rebuilding the city wall according to Nehemiah's organization of the work. He assigns various sections to different groups, families, neighborhoods, and even professional guilds. The people had to work together, not only within their particular teams, but also in cooperation with other teams. Note how many times the phrase next to them occurs in the chapter. Major building work always takes work teams cooperating together. This is true even in the spiritual work of the people of God's church today. There was much work to be done. The Holman Bible Atlas states, Nehemiah 3 contains numerous references to gates and structures along Jerusalem's fortifications. Unfortunately, identifying archaeological remains with any of these structures has been difficult. Yet archaeologists have provided a clearer picture of Nehemiah's Jerusalem. After the destruction of Jerusalem in 586 BC, settlers confined themselves to the eastern ridge, the old city of David and the Temple Mount. There is no evidence of any occupation of the western ridge during the Persian era, although parts of Hezekiah's walls must have remained in fragmentary condition. Settlement upon the city of David apparently was more constricted than ever before. Much of the eastern slope perhaps was left unprotected, as a new line of defense was established farther up the slope, perhaps built along the line of a much earlier wall. Fragments of a wall built of roughly dressed limestone near the crest have been identified by some archaeologists as Nehemiah's wall, but others believe the wall is actually a quarry line. A few of the domestic structures on the eastern slope were reused, but most buildings were located on the crest of the ridge. The fact that Nehemiah completed his initial repairs in 52 days, as we will see in Nehemiah 6:15, argues strongly that segments of the earlier defenses must have been still standing. Presumably the western line of defense and the walls enclosing the Temple Mount were on the same lines as those prior to 586 BC. The Valley Gate, Nehemiah 3:13, along the Tyropoeon Valley, on the west side, has tentatively been identified by some scholars with remains dating from the Iron Age. The location of other gates in Nehemiah 3 are more speculative. It seems reasonable to locate the water gate Nehemiah 3:26 near the Gihon Spring on the east side and the fountain gate at the base of the southeastern hill, Nehemiah 2:14, Nehemiah 3:15. Several towers mentioned in Nehemiah 3, the Tower of Hananel, the Tower of the 100, undoubtedly lay along the northern defenses where Jerusalem was most vulnerable. Jerusalem of Nehemiah's day was slightly smaller than the city of David and Solomon, perhaps covering 37 to 38 acres p. 172. Finally, we should observe that the work in Jerusalem was done by people from all walks of life, just as it is in the Church of God today. The Expositor's Bible Commentary notes, on verse 32 we know from chapter 5 that there were deep economic differences in Judean society. With the exception of the nobles of Tekoa, v5, everyone pitched in, from the high priest v1 to goldsmiths and perfume makers v8:31, and even women v12, to accomplish a common task. Some, like the commoners of Tekoa, even did more than their share v27. What an inspiring example of what can be done when God's people work together under dynamic leadership. Viggo Olsen, who helped rebuild 10,000 houses in war-ravaged Bangladesh in 1972, derived unexpected inspiration from reading a chapter ordinarily considered one of the least interesting in the Bible. I was struck ... that no expert builders were listed in the Holy Land Brigade. There were priests, helpers, goldsmiths, perfume makers, and women, but no expert builders or carpenters were named. The wall under threat, even as Sanballat and Tobiah contemptuously mocked the Jewish rebuilding effort, verses 1-2. We can perhaps sense the panic behind their words. They were really worried. Jewish success could mean their demise. While their taunting and ridicule is intended to shake the confidence of the Jews, it is also a self-deceptive way of steadying their own shaken confidence. Nehemiah does not answer them. Instead, he prays to God to turn the reproach back on their heads, and that their sin not be blotted out, recognizing that they were actually belittling God himself, verses 4-5. This is not a prayer for eliminating any possibility that they would ever find forgiveness through repentance. It is simply asking that God, as a matter of justice and defending his reputation, not let what they have done go undealt with. In verse 6 we see that the confidence of the people is not shaken. Their minds are instead set on the task assigned to them, and they succeed in joining the wall's sections together, though not yet to full height. News of this development infuriates the Jews' enemies, as Jerusalem would soon be a strong fortress. In addition to Sanballat and Tobiah, we also see reference here to the Arabs, among whom Geshem was a leader, see Nehemiah 2:19, the Ammonites, of whom Tobiah was apparently governor, and the Ashdodites, Nehemiah 4:7. Ashdod was one of the 5 principal cities of the Philistines. Yet those who lived there at this time may not have been full-blooded Philistines. The Assyrians destroyed the city in 711 BC. It was later controlled by the Babylonians, and then the Persians, who repopulated it. With the Persian conquest, alternate patches of the Palestinian coast were parceled out to the Phoenician cities of Tyre and Sidon, which provided ships for the Persian navy. During this period, Ashdod was the most important city on the Philistine coast. Expositor's Bible Commentary, note on verse 7. The Jews' enemies lashing out in anger is not a matter of genuine indignation but of alarm. They are rather afraid of what is happening. As they see it, things have gotten out of control, that is, out of their control. They decide that they had better put a stop to this business right away, before it is too late. So they begin plotting against the Jews. The Jews resort to their only sure defense, prayer to Almighty God. This time it is a collective prayer of the people, not merely a private prayer of Nehemiah, verse 9. Yet even as they pray, they do what they humanly can to protect themselves by posting watchmen at all times. In verse 10 we see that the great task of rebuilding is taking its toll on the Jewish workers. Fatigue and the sheer volume of debris lead to discouragement. In the next verse we see that despite the posted watch, the adversaries seem to think that they can still catch the builders by surprise. But the plot is discovered before it can be executed. The Jews are then arrayed for battle and exhorted to bravery on the basis of two factors. 1. The people are to remember all that God has done for his people, and 2. The people are to reflect on the fact that they, unlike their enemies, are defending their homeland and families. But the attack doesn't come. Foiled in their hopes for a surprise attack, the adversaries are so far unwilling to challenge the Jews' newly instituted security measures. There are spiritual parallels to the dual responsibilities in verse 17. We must not neglect our own spiritual survival and security, nor must we neglect doing the work of God. The last three words of the chapter in the original Hebrew is silho hamayim. As Expositor's notes on verse 23 are notoriously difficult to interpret, they are literally, each man his weapon, the water. The NIV rendering is similar to that of the RV. Everyone went with his weapon to the water, and the JP is, everyone that went to the water had his weapon. This would parallel the way Gideon's selected men drank their water with weapons in hand as an indication of their vigilance. The Vulgate took the word silho, not in the sense of his weapon, but as a verb meaning stripped himself. Everyone stripped himself when he was to be washed. This sense was followed by the KJV and NKJV. Everyone put them, that is, their clothes, off for washing. That is, only for washing. Despite the still constant threat of enemy attack, the rebuilding work went on. End